I'm not saying go support Trump. I'm saying push Trump to do the right thing.
The guy
but
says
you say no. You say no. You say no. You're letting the Palestinians die because of your selfishness.
I have an award for running a ceasefire website that millions of people around the world have used. You're calling me selfish?
Yes, I am.
Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go again. Hello, my name is Liz Ashley, and welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about Cenk again. Now, I did post a video about Christine Noem. You should totally watch it. I've been getting into things kind of late because I was just out of town. I went to Epic Universe. It was really fun. I'm going to talk about Cenk again because when I was out of town at Epic Universe, Jayar came out and spoke up and kind of pushed back on him having this interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I also want to talk about some things that Cenk said during his debate with Jordan Ule. And I just want to talk about that again because I was watching the Surfs talk about it and I got really angry. Jayar came out and he was on the Damage Report on John's show and he was like, I just need to get something off my chest. And he started talking about Cenk and his interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I love this. I love this because John hasn't really said a lot, and listen, I'm trying not, I get it. He's doing a stand-up show with Francesca. They're still good. So I'm glad they're still good, and I'm glad they're doing that. But he's been very timid in his response, which again, it's his job. I understand. But Jayar was not. And I love that. And I love that he's doing that. And I love Jayar. Jayar has always been my favorite, actually. Very upset because Jayar had been there I think Jayar's been there almost like the longest time, and they canceled his show. So I was really upset when that happened. But when I saw that he was talking, when he was saying this on John's thing, I got so excited. I was literally at an Epic Universe about to ride, not Epic, I was at Universal, went to Universal, then Epic. And we were about to ride the Jurassic Park ride, and I was just scrolling, so we were in line, and I saw this this Jayar thing, and I was like, oh, and my friends were like, what? And I was like, oh, it's it's nothing. Just internet stuff, Let me show you the clip.
I can't complain too much. I have there's been things on my mind, John. If I could take a minute to get it off my mind. I saw you respond to something that went down on this network. I saw you respond to a lady that asked you to be kind to her. Am I right?
Yes, I did.
While I enjoyed your answer, I feel like there needs to be at least more of a clarification as to why. You gave a great answer. I love it.
Okay.
But when someone comes on a network to sanitize themselves and sanitize their character and their brand and who they are, because it's obvious that they're looking for a Senate run to enhance their power and have more reach within the government. If we begin to allow people to then make themselves be normalized within our society, the things that are absolutely abnormal about them become normalized too. So if we accept someone saying, I'm against foreign wars too, and then we accept that they're still against women's rights, they're still white nationalists, that they still say that we should have a white nationalist country, that becomes normalized, am I right? Maybe we shouldn't allow them to sanitize who they are in our faces and act like it's all normal. They dismissed school shootings from elementary to high school to college shootings that continue to happen on a daily basis. If we get to normalizing those things, those policies become normalized. We have an incompetent government full of a bunch of people who are white nationalists, who do want these types of policies as our norm. If Marjorie Taylor Greene wants someone to be kind to her and stop being mean, maybe she should stop following policies from someone who literally has his right-hand man talking about suspending habeas corpus, continuing to push ICE agents to go up in people's homes and rip a 16-year-old girl from a little baby's arms and slam them on the ground and then charge them with the crime.
What I really like is that he talks about how Cenk is trying to launder and whitewash Marjorie Taylor Greene's reputation. He's helping her do that so she can run for Senate, because that's what she wants to do. And he asked that, is she gonna run for Senate?
A different electoral topic. Last serious question is Senate run in Georgia. Are you considering it?
I'm really lucky to have options for several different races, and I'm lucky to have those options because of the incredible support that I have from many people in Georgia. Polling shows that I can easily win for the Senate primary. Polling also shows I can easily win for the governor's primary. But I got to tell you something else. I absolutely love my district. So the good thing for me is it's my choice to make, and I just have to give it some good thought.
Okay, that seems like a wide open door. That's my interpretation of that answer.
And I'm really happy he said that, because there were a lot of people in my comments who were like, oh, you're so selfish, parroting what he said, and we're going to get to that. Parroting what he said, you're so selfish because you don't believe Marjorie Taylor Greene is anti-war, and so you're not willing to trust her because I don't trust her. And if you look at her track record, she's not anti-war. But anyway, if you're not willing to trust her, if you're not willing to an ally with her, then you're selfish and you don't actually want to end and blah, blah, blah. And JR's like, no. Like, no. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a white supremacist, and trying to act like she's somehow our ally or somehow will be on our side in anything is really ridiculous, and it's insane. And I'm really happy that JR said something, because I think it was crazy irresponsible of Cenk to have that softball interview with her. You're unwilling to ask her the hard questions. You say you just want everyone to talk and get along and blah, 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 but you scream at leftists. You don't want to be allies with leftists. You call leftists the max left and all this bullshit. And yet, Marjorie Taylor Greene's okay, and we should see her as an ally, but the max left, they're crazy. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I wish he would have asked Marjorie Taylor Greene what she said about Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, what she has said about them in the past when they started speaking up for Palestine. How come he didn't talk about that? How come he hasn't talked about all of the racist things that she has said about AOC, Ilhan Omar? Why did he never bring that up? When she says, oh, like they just call me racist and they just call me names and that's not fair. Well, you are racist. Like, she is racist. She is transphobic. She is Islamophobic. She is anti-Semitic. She is all these things.
Participated in the laundering of the reputation of a out and confessed white nationalist. Okay, I don't care what she calls herself when she's smiling and nodding along like a grandma down south that's going to offer you some sweet tea and cookies. Okay, that's not who she is. Just because she's able to camouflage herself, just because she's able to sweet talk Cenk, a guy with a platform, somebody that she thinks she can use, and by God did she. She used him. She played him like a freaking fiddle.
And yet you want to launder her reputation, and you want to normalize her, which means you are normalizing her views that you say you don't agree with. You say you don't agree with a lot of her views, and that we need to come together on this one anti-war thing, even though she's not anti-war. You're willing to negate all of that and then believe her. And that's essentially was the whole like argument that Cenk had with Jordan Ule. So Jordan Ule is on TYT. He's a contributor, and I really love Jordan Ule. I've always loved Jordan Ule. I think he's great. And he started the Ceasefire Now website. And so he's been doing a lot of really amazing things. He always speaks out. He's great. I love Jordan Ule. Cenk had this debate with Jordan Ule, and I really think it showed Cenk's colors. And something that I find extremely disgusting is that he is trying to use the Palestinians' plight as a way to excuse his behavior and excuse his whitewashing and laundering of the reputation of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what he's doing. And he's saying that if you don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene as an ally, and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, which is psychotic, and we'll get into that, if you don't see them as allies in this, then you're selfish and you're killing Palestinians.
But if we just go, oh, nope, I don't want any allies. I don't want allies from the people who are in charge now. How could you not see that that's maniacal and intensely selfish?
Because they're not our allies. When have they ever shown to be an ally?
Right now, they're saying.
No, they're not. They haven't done anything.
Jordan, what the hell do you want him to do? Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I don't want to give any more money.
Because he says one thing, you're like, oh, let's listen to him. He hasn't done anything.
I'm not saying go support Trump. I'm saying push Trump to do the right thing.
The guy
but
says
you say no, you say no, you say no. You're letting the Palestinians die because of your selfishness.
I have an award for running a ceasefire website that millions of people around the world have used. You're calling me selfish?
Yes, I am.
That's disgusting. It's disgusting that you are using them as a way to say it's okay to ally and to befriend fascists. That's crazy. That's crazy. And Jordan Ule tells him that. And he's like, first of all, those people are anti-Semitic. And Cenk says, I don't care. Cenk says, I don't care. Cenk says, I don't care that he'll work with Candace Owens. He'll work with Tucker Carlson.
I feel like it's falling on deaf ears.
But
They've shown
Jordan,
what
how
they
can you say
want.
it's falling on deaf ears? Joe Rogan's talking
They're not
about
doing
it. Like, I'm not just talking about Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and the far right. Rogan, Theo
Tucker
Vaughn,
Carlson's an
endlessly.
anti-Semite. He is a white
cares?
nationalist.
Like,
That's why
no, anti-Semite, and that's our speculation. Okay, that's terrible, and I'm going to deal with that later. But are you trying to discourage him from, like?
I'm not trying to discourage him. I'm not saying he's going to be an effective messenger to persuade Trump. He's going to listen to the most powerful in the world. He's going to listen to the military-industrial complex. They're going to have more influence than podcaster Tucker Carlson.
And that's where I think shows him. That shows me who Cenk is. That shows Cenk has no morals. He has nothing. He has no consistent beliefs. Because how are you going to sit here and say that you are going to work with people like freaking Candace Owens? Candace Owens, who famously was trying to launder Ye's reputation. Are you going to work with Ye, Cenk? Do you think you should work with him? Do you think that that's smart? Do you think that that's a good idea? And so he's like, oh yeah, I would work with Candace Owens. Why wouldn't you work with Candace Owens? That's selfish. No, it's not. Candace Owens has famously come out and said that she agrees with Hitler until he started being a globalist.
I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize.
What? Like, what are you saying? Like, how can you sit here and say, oh, well, I'll work with Candace Owens? How? The other day, she is literally trying to say that Harvey Weinstein is not guilty. He literally says, who cares, when Jordan Ule is like, they are racist and they are anti-Semitic and they are fascist, and I don't think that they're our allies, and I don't think that you should trust them because they don't believe it. And he said he doesn't care. They also are Islamophobic. And Jordan brings that up too. And he's like, I don't care.
The only reason he's saying that is because he is a white nationalist. You look at his comments on people in the Middle East going back to the 2000s. He sees them as subhuman. Like, there are many comments that he made on that shock jock show.
Jordan, you've done.
Because I don't inherently believe one thing that Trump said on camera.
No, it's not about believing, Jordan. It's not about believing.
And he's like, well, you don't have to believe them. Okay, so you're admitting that they're lying. So you're admitting that they're lying. You're admitting that they're not actually anti-war. You're admitting that they don't care. And yet you're telling everybody else that they're selfish and they don't care because we are not willing to work with fascists on something that they are lying about. And we know they're lying about. And if you look at their track record, they're lying about. Marjorie Taylor Greene admitted she got money from AIPAC. And now everyone in my comments is like, oh, so you don't want to work with her on this? Work with her on what? Work with her on what? He asked her about all the student activists that are getting detained and like are getting kidnapped in the middle of the street with masked men. And she said, well, if they don't want to behave, if they don't want to, whatever, then I don't have a problem with it. So what ally? What ally? What ally? What ally?
Streets, Mahmoud Halil, Öztürk, who wrote an op-ed against Israel, or criticizing the current Israeli government, and now they're arrested and potentially deported. And they were here legally on visas or as on green cards. Seems to be a direct attack on freedom of speech. What's your stance on those arrests?
Well, I think freedom of speech extends to Americans. I haven't really been vocal on any of those issues. I think being an American citizen is a pretty special privilege. But if you're here on a visa or a green card, then I think you should be respectful towards America and the people that we stand with. And so if they've done something wrong, then I have no problem with them being deported.
You are normalizing people that have some of the worst views. And the other thing he's doing is like Anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are being conflated right now in a very dangerous manner, okay? And the Trump administration is using people who are anti-Zionist. He's using that and is saying that, that it's anti-Semitic, and he's using that to crack down on speech. He's using that to deport and kidnap people. That is what he's using. And so working with white supremacists, I don't think is a good way to stop people conflating that issue. I think it's selfish that you think that it's a good decision. I think it's crazy that you would want to work with them in the first place because they are white supremacists. Like it's insane to me. Like I really don't understand the thought process. And all I really think it could be is that Cenk understands that people are upset with him. And Cenk understands the only issue that probably most people in his audience agree with him with is Palestine. That is the only issue he's been good on. And so he's using that as a way to say, see, I was right, wasn't I? I was right months ago when I said they were anti-war. And if you don't believe me and if you don't believe them, then you're the problem. You're killing Palestinians. That's disgusting. Something else I want to acknowledge is that Cenk in the beginning, when Trump won, he was trying to go talk to Charlie Kirk. He was trying to talk to everyone. And he used the same thing. He said, well, they're anti-war. Now, I knew that was a lie, and I knew that wasn't true from the very beginning. He also said that they were populists. Are there some regular people who are conservative that are populist? Sure. Is Charlie Kirk a populist? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene a populist? No, never. No. Something else he didn't want to talk to her about is her stock trading, and how she made all that money when Trump said, oh, no more tariffs, and all these people made money the next day. She was one of them. So it's really ridiculous to think that, oh, they're populist or they actually mean what they say, or, oh, they're anti-war. They're not anti-war. He is not an anti-war candidate. And to keep spreading this misinformation is crazy to me, because they upped our military budget the most we have the highest it's ever been. They also committed war crimes in Yemen. They admitted to war crimes in a freaking signal chat. They bombed a whole entire apartment building in Yemen to get one person. There were children in that building. That is a war crime. What do you mean anti-war? What do you mean? My problem is fascists can say they agree with you, but they don't. They're lying. Or they could do something that ostensibly you'd be like, oh, that's a good thing. But they're not doing it. They're not doing it because it's a good thing. They're doing it because they want to launder their reputation, or they want people like you, like Cenk, to say, oh, well, at least the trains run on time. All while they're disappearing people and kidnapping them and sending them to prison camps. But it's okay because the trains run on time. Crazy work. Yeah, that's the video. Please like and subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could help, that would be awesome. I want to start live streaming, but I need to get a new laptop. So that might take a minute. Tell me what you think below, and watch my Christine Nome video, please. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.